Okay, so for example 4, it says downhill skiing has been an event in the Winter Olympics since 1948. Before 1964, the skiers' times were measured to the nearest tenth of a second. Since 1964, the times have been measured to the nearest 100th of a second. Describe the pattern of winning times. So as I look through these times, I see a couple different things. First, right away, I see a sharp decline. So I wrote sharp down because they really do go down fast here. Then it looks like they kind of level out, go up, go down. There's not a lot of movement, after about 1978 maybe. They just really level off. So I would say the trend here is broken up into two parts. First, a sharp decline, and then second, a leveling off. So as I write about the trend, I would say a sharp decline in times until about 1978. So there's that. Then times leveled out from 1978 to the present. We only have from 2010, we don't have the last 10 years, but I will say what we know is that they've kind of leveled out and kind of stayed around those same times. All right, example 5. In both the Summer and Winter Olympic Games, the scores for some events are based on subjective decisions by judges. Some examples are gymnastics, diving, figure skating, and ski jumping. Subjective means that it's up to the individual judge, and it could change from judge to judge. So when a gymnast does a gymnastics routine, different judges see that same routine and they give different scores depending on how they view it. So same with diving. Someone looks at a dive and they think, oh yeah, that was really good, or this could have been better, and so different judges give different scores. When you talk about like a swimming race, it's just the fastest person wins, period. There's no judges judging how well someone is swimming. Whatever any swimmer does is if they're the fastest, they win. So these 4 sports have subjective decisions by judges. So we're going to talk about, for diving, how someone gets a score and how you'd figure that out. So example 5 says, for a women's diving event, a panel of 7 judges evaluate a dive. Each judge awards a score between 0 and 10, as shown in the table. The degree of difficulty is 1.8, and to determine the final score, you have to do this. Discard the 2 highest and 2 lowest scores awarded by the judges. So there's 7 scores. We're going to cross out the 2 low and the 2 high. Then add the remaining 3 scores and multiply by the degree of difficulty. So if you do a dive really well, but it's not that hard of a dive, you don't get as many points as if it's a really hard dive. So what is the diver's final score? So first thing I do is I go and I look at the list and I find the 2 lowest. And the 2 lowest were 6.5 by Mexico, and there was a tie. Italy and Brazil both gave 7.0, and those were a tie for the low. So I just took out one of those, the Brazil score. So I crossed out my 2 lows. Then I'm looking for the 2 highest. The very highest was 8.5 by Germany, so I crossed that out. And then the next highest was 8.0 by China, so I crossed that out. I circled the 3 middle scores, and then I'm going to add those up and multiply by the degree of difficulty, 1.8. So add up the 3 scores in the middle, multiply by 1.8, and that's a score. Up here it says, is this a good score? I'm not really sure about diving, so maybe that's sort of good. It seems like, they're not really near 10s, so it's probably not the best score, but it's decent. Last, we're going to talk about scoring ski jumping. So when you're scoring ski jumping, it says Olympic ski jumping scores are based on a point system that combines style points and distance points. For style points, a jump is divided into 3 parts: flight, landing, and outrun. A panel of 5 judges evaluate the jump. Each judge awards a max of 20 points. The highest and lowest scores are discarded, and the 3 remaining are totaled. So here we're only going to take out the top score and the bottom score, and then we'll add the 3. Distance points says a K point is marked in the landing area, it's at 120 meters. When the K point is at 120 meters, jumpers are awarded 60 points plus 1.8 points for each meter they exceed the K point, or 60 points minus 1.8 points for each meter they are short of the K point. So we're going to try one of these. We'll look at the example here. We have to do style and distance and add them up. So style, as you recall up here, we have to cross out the high and low score. So for style, it looks like the highest is 20 and the lowest is 17. So I cross those out, high and low, and then I'm going to add the 3 remaining. So 18.0 plus 18.5 plus 19.0. When you add up the style points, you get 55.5. Now for distance, you have to take 60 points plus 1.8 for every meter past 120. So I did 60 plus 1.8 times 5 because we got a distance of 125. If it was 126, it would be times 6, or 127, it would be times 7. So we get 125, so times 5, so we do all that and get 69 for the distance points. And then we add up 55.5 and 69, add those together to get the total, 124.5.